Tonight on the Boom Bap Chat, we welcome in Cashus King. And yo, Till, let's start the show.
Yes. Let's start this show, ladies and gentlemen. The Boom Bap Chat 105. We have an artist tonight that has put out one of my favorite albums this year. Before we bring him on, it's been a couple weeks. Profound, man. How you feeling? You got some football going on in your life right now?
Yeah, man. First day of coaching. We got voluntary training camp going on that started yesterday.
Nice.
With the 12-year-old boys and the 14-year-old boys, and looking good already. First day of camp, man. I was surprised the kids. Usually the first day, it's summer, kids would be lazy, but now these kids was ready to get at it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I've been wrapped up in that.
Good. Well, you know what I've been on over here, and if you've been following our social media, our new book, The Native Tongues Review, is just about finished. It's all written. Just doing some last minute proofreading and editing, make sure we got all those typos fixed. And so I've been on that every night, staying up late, trying to get that done. And shout out to the crew, man, especially my man Joe Thomas, Joe November.
Yeah.
He's been on it, and Bo Brown, they've been on it. So yeah. Also want to shout out Everybody's Records here in Cincinnati. If you have not supported them, please do. You can check them out here in Pleasant Ridge, or you can check them out online at everybody'srecords.com. All right, let's start this show tonight. Boom Bap Chat number 105. And our guest, I'm going to bring him in and introduce him. Man, we have a treat for you all tonight. Our guest tonight has been an MC for many, many years. He's been putting it down. And his new album, like I said, is one of my favorite albums, if not my favorite album this year. So he's just getting started, even though he's been around for over a decade putting down dope music. We're going to talk about his career, his music, and much more. Please join me as we welcome to the Boom Bap Chat, Cashus King.
What up, y'all? We up in here. I have to switch shirts real quick to the Cashus shirt.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. Yo, welcome, Cashus King.
CashusKing.bandcamp.com if you want to cop one.
There we go. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Man, doing really well, man.
That's what's up, man.
Been really enjoying your new album, and we're definitely want to. Yeah, man, we definitely want to spend some.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just saying. Well, I definitely want to spend some time getting into that. But before that, for those that may not know the name very well, they might know you as your previous name, Cos, right?
Yeah.
COSS, and now Cashus King. And can you just tell the people, like, how did you get into music?
Just through being a fanatic of hip hop, man. It started off in '93 with Creeping on the Come Up, Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah.
And then really Tupac Shakur really opened me up to wanting to express myself through rhyme. It wasn't really the thug life stuff. It was more of his vulnerability through like Dear Mama and So Many Tears and It Ain't Easy and Brenda's Got a Baby. And then just, coming to my coming to age through just the people I was a fan of, Common, Tupac, Ice Cube, all through the 90s, just like always imagining myself doing what the people who I idolized were doing. But really Tupac Shakur and Big Boy from Outkast really kind of, Big Boy kind of informed stylistically how I wanted to express myself in a literal sense, and Tupac kind of informed how I wanted to express myself in a thematic sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, that's dope. For years, like all I listened to was hip hop, like all those artists you named and many more. Was there ever a time where you listened to other music outside of hip hop that influenced and inspired you?
I always say one of the dopest lyricists that doesn't rap is Fiona Apple. You know what I mean? I also like Ben Howard. I always like tell the homies I like white girls with guitars. So, I listen to a lot of Clairo. You know what I mean? She's a young pop artist that I really like. I love Beach House.
Okay.
Beach House is my shit. I like depressing, gloomy guitar bass shit. So I like Gregory Alan Isakov. I love movie scores. I like sappy, sad R&B. You know what I mean? I will bump Boys to Men for like a week straight. You know what I'm saying? Like I get into I love other genres. Like a lot of times other genres is what brings me back to hip hop. I'll go back and listen to like the Idler Will album from Fiona, and then just want to go back and write a rap song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's dope. So you've been in hip hop for a while. Is there something about hip hop that has really stood out to you in music specifically that you really enjoyed over the years putting out music?
Um, I mean, you mean as far as my specific creative process, or just the genre in general?
No, your personal experience. Is there anything that stuck out to you that you really enjoyed? Has really stuck out to you?
How therapeutic hip hop is. You
Mm,
know, how like I'm in
yeah,
therapy and I see a therapist, but at the end of the day, what keeps me sane is being able to get my pent up emotions out through my artistry. You
yeah,
know, so how much hip hop has always been there for me. You know, the reason why I don't go out and do a bunch of crime or go out and, do violent shit or get caught up is because when the homies
yeah,
is about to go do what they do, I'm like, nah, I'm about to go to the house and write this rap. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So how hip hop has been the best therapist I could ever have, even outside of conventional Western medicine. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that, man, and I see that, I hear that a lot. How music has changed people's lives and
yeah,
kept them from a lot of terrible stuff. That's
hell
dope. That's
yeah.
dope. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
like the
really dope.
homies wanted to be like the gangsters. I wanted to be like Nas, because Nas,
Yeah,
how he watched the niggas. He would
yeah,
watch and then and use that. So I was like, oh, I want to be like Nas. I want to be the dude that watches and then uses that to create the art, because that
yeah,
creates a voice for the people out there. You know,
yeah,
and they hear your music and they're like, yo, man, I really like what you did. You speaking for the homies. Like that whole kind
yeah,
of like Kendrick Lamar sing about me kind of dynamic.
yeah. Now you grew up in Los Angeles, is that right?
Yeah, Leimert Park, born and raised. Yeah.
Okay. So what was it like? What was the hip hop like growing up where you were, as far as like you mentioned Nas and like East Coast music and West Coast. What was it like growing up for you in your
It was
particular
it was crazy. I
experience?
grew up in the height of the East Coast West Coast beef.
Oh
So we grew
yes.
up where niggas around here was like, fuck Biggie, fuck Nas, nigga, we
Oh
Yeah.
man.
niggas. And then I didn't end up getting into them until like 3 or 4 years after that beef settled, like early 2000s. All of a sudden, I'm a Jay-Z fanatic. I'm a Biggie fanatic. But growing up, it was Dog Pound. It was Razzcast. It was Corrupt. It was Exhibit. It was the Alcoholics. It was, Bay Area and LA, okay. Down south, yeah, we rock with them. Midwest, oh yeah, Twister, Psychodrama, all that. But the East Coast, nah, we don't fuck with that. You know what I mean? It was real. The East Coast West Coast tension really bled into fandom and robbed us of being fans of those people at the time that they were most relevant. I didn't get into Biggie until
Mm,
posthumously after he passed. I didn't get into Nas until years after, the East Coast West Coast shit kind of settled down. So yeah, I grew up in the height of that shit, man. Like it was
man.
real.
Man, I'm telling you that was like, I was pretty young, but I wasn't that young,
Yeah.
when that was happening. But I think it hit me a few years later how depressing that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Mm.
Yeah.
a battle like Ice Cube and Common going back and forth. Like cool, but like people died, man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still think about this. Like Biggie
Yeah.
died, Pac
Yeah.
died. Like that
Yeah.
just it's still I still get frustrated when I think about that.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
sad, man.
And then how a lot of people got pulled into it that really didn't want
Yeah.
no parts of it. Wu-Tang didn't want no parts of that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
E40 didn't want no parts of that. It was a lot of niggas are like, we just kind
Right.
of get pulled in by affiliation. But yeah, it robbed us of being able to be fans of those guys when it was really happening, because then
Yeah.
years later, I'm
Yeah.
like, how was I not bumping Cream? How was I not bumping
Right.
Capone Noriega? How was I not bumping Mobb Deep? Like, this is crazy. But Tupac said, he said some
Yeah.
shit on Hit 'Em Up, and we were like, yeah,
Right.
we this one.
Yeah.
So
Being in the Midwest and Profound. What was it like in Chicago during that era?
Chicago's, it being in the middle, Chicago was a city that got everything,
Yeah.
so and when Pac first hit, that was like 88. Well, I mean, when or 90, like I was a sophomore in high school then, you know what I mean? So I
Hmm.
seen the transition from, him becoming as big as he was, as big as he was getting, and then that beef in the Chicago, it was funny because you had some people that was riding with East, some people was riding with the West Coast, and some people were just like, I don't want no parts of it at all. I
Right.
deal with both of them. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where I was. I was kind of like right in the middle. Like I had just as much West Coast hip hop as I did East Coast hip hop.
mhm.
So I was just hoping that it was gonna there was gonna be a peaceful resolution,
Yeah.
and of course the powers that be, we know how it went down. So
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because around that time I was heavy in the Chicago shit. Like I was
Oh,
something like Adrenaline Rush, the
Oh
Sniper,
yeah,
Young Buck, the
Sniper.
original Young Buck. No, this the Young Buck
Mm-hmm.
unit,
Mm-hmm.
formerly G Unit. But I was bumping, I'm bringing pain like two bad nurses, like that kind of shit. I was like, man, I was heavy into the Chicago shit, G, like for
Young
real.
Buck psychodrama.
Yeah, I put all
Shout
of the
out.
merch on in Chicago, and they was like, they had me burning CDs and shit. Like, let me get that psychodrama shit. Let me get that sniper shit. Like, but when
Yeah.
conflict hit the scene, that's when like Wild Style and Never, like I
Mm-hmm.
lost my mind. I was like, this nigga Wild Style is so dope. Like, and even to this day, Wild Style is still dope as fuck. Yeah, so yeah.
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 Chicago really influenced me a lot, especially Young Buck from Psychodrama.
That's
That's
what's
dope.
up.
So looking back over your career, you say you've been in it 15 years. Is that right?
Yeah, probably a little more than that. Less than
Yeah.
20, more than 15,
There
17,
you go.
18, something like that.
Somewhere in the middle. If you could
But
go
professionally
back.
doing it since like 09.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. So that's a minute. So thinking about your more professional career in music, if you could go back and change anything, would you change anything?
I would go back and drop my album right after Blue dropped Below the Heavens because I was supposed to sign the Sound and Color, and I was supposed to be the next album to come out after Below the Heavens. And I dropped that ball. And then in 2011, I was supposed to put out my Exile solo, drop that ball. And a little inside information, some of the beats that were on the Fashion first record, I originally was trying to write to those beats, like the Ecology track. I had that instrumental. It was a lot of shit I slept on.
Wow.
Those are some of my regrets, not pouncing on those Exile beats during, and that's not to take anything away from the fantastic records from Joe Haas, Choosy, everybody that's worked with X. Yeah, that Black Beans record. Yeah,
Man.
and the record.
Dude,
but,
I love that Black Beans album.
Yeah.
Love
It has a very
joint.
distinct kind of Latin meets Exile
Yeah.
flavor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was fun. But yeah, those are my regrets. Just not pouncing on those prime years like 09, 08, right after Below the Heavens, 2011. You know what I mean? So if I could go back, I would have put those projects out. And then I had a project called Cost Sings the Blues that Blue produced. That I never dropped.
Again?
It was called Cost Sings the Blues. Cost Sings the BLU possessive apostrophe S. Cost Sings the Blues. And Blue produced the whole thing, and we never dropped it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so.
Hey, speaking of Blue, I know you've done a lot with him. What's your favorite Blue album, if you had to pick one?
Probably what was the one he dropped? It was like the self-produced one. It's not. I think Her Favorite Color.
Yes.
Her Favorite Color.
Dude, I'm so glad you said that album. I
The
love
one
that album.
Yeah, that was when Blue was really in his bag, like creatively, and he was producing his own stuff, and it just, that's one of my favorite joints.
You just had those random. Oh, go ahead, Profan.
I was gonna say that cat is a monster, man.
Yeah.
Shout out Her Favorite Color. You just had those random movie flick scenes in there, and like, I really like that album.
Yeah. But the one that gives me the most nostalgia is Johnson & Johnson, because I was actually in the studio when they were laying, and I watched how inspired they were and just the whole organic process of putting it together. I mean, they had a lot, him and Mainframe had a lot of fun putting that together, and there was just a lot of like kinetic, like organic energy. So it's not like my favorite album musically, but it's my favorite one memory wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's dope. Before we go into some fun questions, I want to bring in one of our listeners, viewers, Coop Art. He's always tuning in. Shout out Coop Art. He says, ask him what art is in the background, please. Is that Biggie?
Oh, that's a biggie.
There it is.
Oh, dude, look at Till.
We got my coveted. I got Pac over here.
Oh, okay.
And then I got I'm going the wrong way. I got Biggie over here. I got Pac and Big. I felt like it was only right. And then I got Badu right where I write. You know, so anytime I'm on writer's block, I look up at Badu and I go, what would Badu do? You know what I mean? What would Badu do in this moment? Would she give up? No, she would not. She would continue to, and I try to tap into something.
She would get into a convertible, take her clothes off, and start dancing down the street.
I always think about Badu walking through DC in the booty shorts and shit. And I go, what would Badu do in this moment? So I objectify Badu because
Yeah, Coop Art, my man. Art vibes. Yeah, that's dope. All right. Let's have some fun. I got a couple questions for you. Some if questions, just to have some fun. All right. So the first question here, I don't know if in the sports, but if you could coach any major league team of any sport, who would you pick?
Not the Clippers. I'm not a sports guy. I just don't fuck with the Clippers. I know that. Because I'm not a sports guy, it had to be the Lakers, but I know that's lame, but I'm just not a sports dude. I'm just the guy that doesn't like the Clippers and just only rocks with the Lakers. So you know what I'm saying? But, yeah.
Have you always not
the
been
Lakers need a fucking coach, so it would have to be a Laker.
There you go. Has that always been true for you? That you're not a sports guy?
Well, I'm just like I'm a Laker guy. I was during the Kobe era, and then when Kobe passed, and then my best friend died last year, and it kind of killed my whole desire to really, follow basketball. I've never been a sports fan, but at one time I was a Laker fanatic. You know what I mean? Going all the way back to the Van Exel era, Eldon Campbell era and shit. The 90s. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, but I've seen some sports that I think black folks kind of sleep on, like playoff hockey, man.
Yeah,
playoff
facts.
Really
facts,
exciting, man. Yeah. So
I'm
not a sports, but if I was, I would fuck with hockey during the playoffs.
Hey, hockey's fun to watch, man. I was I never really got into hockey, but someone gave me a ticket to a game here in Cincinnati. I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And man, it was really fun. And then my kids, we were on vacation last week, just kind of chilling, and a hockey game was on, and my kids turned it on. Like, we want to watch this. Like, really? Yeah. But they got into it. I think it's all the all the hitting and all the action. It's fun.
They don't score a lot. It's it never stops. It's going back and forth. And they get close so often, and it's like, damn,
yeah.
And they start wobbling, and it's like, I'm surprised more black people was the ice. That's right. And the cold, we don't adapt.
Right. All right, moving to the music realm. If you could record an album with only one producer, and you could choose any producer you want, who would it be?
Even though he kind of hurt me back in the day, I had to be Lotus, Flying Lotus. Yeah, that whole electric vibe, I originally had a joint on my first album from Lotus, but I didn't get it. Couldn't get it cleared from Lotus to use it. So
no, that's terrible.
Yeah, it was called Palm Trees, featuring Sean Jackson. It was fire. But yeah, Lotus, but I mean, see, as soon as this is over and later, I'm gonna be thinking, oh, why didn't I say that? Oh, why didn't I like Battle Cat, DJ Battle Cat, for example, you know what I mean? Would be one. I could go with of course, like Dr. Dre, you know what I mean? Yeah. I am from the West Coast.
Right.
But yeah, like Battle Cat or Lotus. Those are the ones that come right to mind. So yeah.
Dope.
And Blue was supposed to do it. Oh, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm just gonna say it. He was supposed to do some shit with Battle Cat called Blue Cat.
Oh.
So I want him to do something with Blueface called Blue versus Blueface, but I don't know if that's ever gonna happen.
We'll see. All right. Last if question for you. If you won $1 billion tomorrow, $1 billion, but no one knew it. All right. So like nobody's coming after you or anything. How would your life change, or would it?
I would just be able to really do the things I want to do, which is get more involved in like philanthropy, leftist politics, the egalitarian nature of leftism, maybe build a YouTube channel, network with some of my favorite leftists, Majority Report, Young Turks, that kind of thing. Use my money to elevate my visibility so I can be more, get my Killer Mike on, basically. That's what I would try to get money for, to try to give back as much as I can and reinvest into the community would be ideal. Try to do some Nipsey Hussle type shit,
Have you ever been on the Young Turks?
No, I'm not that relevant, but that's Young Turks is what really got me into leftism, Cenk Uygur. But Sam Cedar is my favorite leftist commentator. So, and also like Ben Dixon a lot too. So yeah, I'm a lefty, like far left. So.
Have you ever got into what is that new program? Oh, Breaking Points.
Oh no, I cannot know that, because that's what we call the grifting left. I love Crystal Ball though, but I can't fuck with Sagar and Jetty. He claims to be a right-wing populist, and I don't think that's really a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the reason I like that show is like they talk,
Yeah,
they're not like yelling at each other. Yeah, I like Crystal Ball too. And
Did you
I
see,
like,
not to cut you off, did you see what Crystal Ball did to Bill Maher?
yeah, I saw that. I saw
Ooh,
that.
it was a
Well,
bloodbath. It was nasty. Never book her again, Bill. Never do that again. It got
I
dirty.
missed it.
I loved it. Like,
Yeah, I liked it too, man. Yeah, I haven't really watched Bill Maher in a long
yeah,
time,
nah. But that's a good
yeah,
point about breaking points, though. The fact that they can have just a respectful exchange of ideas, and I get what the show's trying to do, and I commend it, but I just think Crystal gets a little suffocated. Saga tends to seem to be more of the alpha on the show, and it's
okay.
on the hill. No, they left the
No,
hill.
they stuck. They left the hill because
Yeah, they went
they
independent.
didn't. Yeah, they went independent because they're kind of being forced to do something they didn't want to do. So they were like, forget you. So, but I
Brianna
also
Joy
like,
is over at the hill now, though. And it's kind of disappointing because she's over there kind of carrying water for Tucker Carlson and doing that
yeah,
anti-left wing shit now. So.
crazy. It's all crazy, man. It's all crazy. I do like when Cenk gets really animated. And Anna too, man. They both, man. They would go off.
They be going Tupac, hit them up on that.
Yeah. They really do. Well, they need to get you on because,
of course,
of course, yeah. Because I watched that show and they've had guests on. I'm like, oh, like Napoleon, Napoleon the Legend. Do you know this cat, Napoleon the Legend?
You're not talking about Napoleon from the Outlaws, are you?
No. There's an emcee. He's I'm not sure where he's from. He lived in the States for a long time. Might be from France, but Napoleon the Legend, really dope MC. He popped up on one of the. I don't know if it was TYT, but it was something similar. And I was like, oh snap! I know this cat from MC. And so they sometimes have some MCs on there. I know I think they've had Killer Mike on there. They had I forget who it was, but a really dope underground MC on there before. So maybe they'll have you on there sometime.
To the young Generation Z leftist like spear, the Young Turks are considered old now. So they kind of lost a lot of their cachet because they're considered old. Now you have this new guard of left-wing commentators coming in. So it's like all the left is very good at undermining the left. There's a lot of left on left beef. So while the right is very cohesive,
right.
So kind of like LA hip hop scene. So yeah.
Right.
We're very separate out here. Like we don't really every man for himself in LA.
Well, hey, if there's something that can bring us together, it's your new album, man. Wow.
Word.
The Weight of Wind. Let's jump in. Profound, tell us something about this album, man, please. I know you've been listening to it.
MCs rarely want to say when somebody's sending them back to their pad. I ain't grabbed a pad in a long time. Like technology is so different. I don't write on paper as much unless I'm working, like with work. This album, brother, I was like, oh yeah, I got to get my rhyme book back out again, man. I can't even say they coming; they already here, man. Let me get my man. Yeah, man. I was I want to say that I was as impressed as when I first heard Blue. Word. I didn't know Blue. When I first heard Blue, somebody, a neighbor of mine, shout out, we got to get him on the show too. Shout out to my man D Jackson. He asked me if I heard of Blue. He's like, I think you'll really like him. Like the way you rhyme. So I heard Below the Heavens first. And then when I heard Blue, I was like, oh wow. Yeah. So then I'm listening to this till when you sent it, and I sat back like, oh, this kid can rhyme. It's like, okay, now I got to really pay attention. Hold on a minute. Let me strap myself in the seat. And then I was just, yeah. But since we going there, let me go here. If you don't mind, Cashus, can you break something down for me, man? Because I couldn't wait. I wanted to ask you about this. Can you break down this part on God is an MC towards the end, where it's like turning all your memories to dust, all your memories of us is now memories of what was once was. Cause like, where were you going? What was that in regard to? Because I think when I listen to music, like I can take that and apply that to my own self. But I like to ask the artist, like, what did you mean in that little breakdown right there?
Just reflected on, for me personally, how like the excessive marijuana smoking I've done has taken like a lot of my more like explicit memories and turned them into like foggy hazes of what. But you can remember how you felt. So, the homies will be like, yo, you remember this? You remember when that happened? I'll be like, no, but I do remember the feeling I had during that time. you know. So it's like, you know, that memories of us, memories of what once was, you know, it's still there, but it's like a fog in your mind, you know what I mean? And it's real. Like I smoked so much pot during my adolescence that it kind of robbed me of some of the more vivid memories. Like I should remember things more explicitly, but I don't.
Okay.
So it's still there. That feeling is still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, it's dope. So dope, brother.
Thank
Props.
you, man. That's a compliment. I really appreciate the way the album has impacted you. And I was hoping that, you know, I didn't expect to, you know, go platinum, but I was hoping I'd have an artistic impact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, hopefully people who know will know. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to get through the door in this game. So yeah.
Yeah. You know, that was one thing I wanted to ask you about. Like, did you have goals in mind or something you wanted to achieve with this music after you had, you know, recorded it and put it out there? Is there something you're looking for this album to do?
I was hoping this would be the record that would finally elevate me to just being in the conversation amongst my peers, because I feel like a lot of times I don't like to do a lot of complaining and bitching. I don't feel like the game owes me anything. If anything, I just got to find more creative ways to approach it. But I do kind of feel like on the outside, like Anthony Fantano ain't reviewing my shit. You know what I mean? You know, I'm not like Sean C's not going to be reviewing my shit. Like I was hoping this would be the album that would finally at least wake some people up to just get me in the conversation. You know, you don't have to rave about it, but I would just like to hear you talk about it, you know? I think like when I see like the Kendrick Lamar drop, I think one of the greatest things outside of the wealth he's accrued and all of that is that people analyze every lyric of every song. And that's what artists want. We want that acknowledgement. You know, you don't got to love the art, but just saying that you see the art and you hear the art, that means the world to an artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny you bring up Kendrick Lamar, because when I listened to his new album, I listened to it one time and I thought, okay, I need to come back to this and really sit with it. It's not really an album that I would like, you know, just put on a lot and enjoy like a lot of other albums, but it's so dense and so heavy and there's so much there. And I just want to like soak it up and like be a student of it, you know? Your album reminded me of that because it is dense. You're saying a lot in the album, but it's also an album I can just throw on and enjoy too.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that that's one of my favorite things about an album, is that it has both. It has lyrical content that you can really study and really dig into and come back to again and again and again. There's something fresh and something new. So there's quality there and there's substance there. And it's also like easy. It's like easy. It's easily digestible. You know what I mean? Like the vibe of it, like the whole thing just like feels good. You can put it on when you're doing dishes or whatever the case is, you know? And that's not easy to pull off. So I really appreciate that about this album.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's how I feel about Outkast Mainstream from AT Aliens. It's like somber, but I can still vibe. I can smoke out to it. It don't make me want to cry, but it makes me want to think. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes stuff can get a little too dark and it kind of alienates you as a listener.
Right.
But
totally. Do you feel like, you know, you mentioned that you want this album to be in conversations and, you know, kind of draw some heads to you. Do you think it's doing that?
My management, see, I get very depressed about the analytics and stuff, so I don't tend to follow the numbers. But my manager keeps reassuring me this album is doing better. Like I don't even go to the streaming platforms. I don't check the stream counts. I don't do none of that. You know, I just kind of fall back and just keep working hard and grinding, finding ways to keep promoting it while working on new stuff. But he's telling me that this one's being received better than anything I've ever released, and that it seems to be connected. Because what happened was we kind of got intertangled with the whole Logic algorithm on the streaming platform because Logic was affiliated to Blue. I mean, Blue was on the Logic. I'm affiliated to Blue, so it was suggesting me to a lot of Logic's fans. So it drove a lot of people. So Logic happened to drop the same. I was like, "Thank you, Logic." I want to send them a thank you and shit. Like, "Thank you, bro. I know you don't know me, and I know you didn't do it on purpose, but thank you."
Thank you. That's dope. Well, we're going to be talking about it and promoting it as best we can, because it's my favorite album from you yet. You know, and you dropped a lot of dope music through the years. You know, and that's
here's some little inside information about the album. It's kind of similar to Below the Heavens in the sense that Blue finished Below the Heavens in 2003 and didn't put it out until 2007. I finished this one in 2015, 16. If you listen to the content on Zombie Nation, I'm rapping about The Walking Dead. You know, from like 2014 and shit.
Yeah.
Like if you listen, but then like on one joint, it was just kind of like, I guess it was meant to be because I was like the little fish I was like the little fish, Derek Fish from the big fish, LeBron James. I didn't know we was gonna have LeBron James on the Lakers at that time. I just kind of threw it out there. So some of it
Yeah.
sounds.
Wow.
So yeah, but I loved it so much that usually an artist doesn't want to put out older stuff. But I was like,
Right.
me and my producer agreed, we still want to put this out, man. Like we still love this record. Like,
Yeah.
even though it got done years ago, it's still something that we really felt like we wanted people to hear, you know?
Yeah. Now why it take so long to put it out?
Because we respected it so much. And first Exile was supposed to back it. And then I ended up stepping away from Dirty Science. And then I had a couple of indie labels that were supposed to back it. Those deals fell through. And we just respected it so much that we wanted to roll it out with a cassette press up, with vinyl, everything. And then after a while, the producer who produced the whole thing, Clouded Slum, shouts out to Clouded Slum, he hit me up and he was like, bro, digital only, let's just drop it. It needs to be put out. I know we don't have the resources, we don't have a label, let's just roll it out digital. And I agreed with him because too much time was passing, you know, and this is music and the music's meant to be heard. And I was kind of a hypocrite because I'll be bitching to the homies that Kendrick ain't dropped in 5 years and shit. I'm like, where Kendrick, nigga, where the Kendrick? The homies like, you doing the same thing, nigga. So, you know, I was mad at the boy Kendrick, you know, like, where you at, nigga? You hip-hop nigga. J. Cole gotta carry your weight, nigga. You know, I was mad at the boy K-Dot, man.
What'd you think of his new album?
I loved it, man. Like, but I'm a kind of a melancholy guy. Like, I sit around listening to the saddest Fiona Apple songs I can find. So, like, that Kendrick was like depression heaven for me. I was like, this shit is sad as fuck. I love it. Like, Kendrick got deep on it. I'm like, you rich as fuck and you depressed, ain't you, nigga? Like, but yeah, I like the album a lot. But like, similar to your critique, where, you know, it's like musically, maybe like song for song, it's not my favorite Kendrick, but it's such an immersive experience.
Yeah.
And it's so intricately woven together. And I just appreciate how you can tell Kendrick don't do shit in 2 weeks. If he's working on a project, he's gonna put like 6 months in on it, you know?
Yeah.
And I just really appreciate the layering that he offers, you know. That Lupe drops tomorrow, yo.
Oh, new Lupe.
The brother
tomorrow, yo. I'm super amped about that, man. I'm ready to hear complex lyrics that I don't understand and got to listen to 5 they make sense. They make sense. You just, you know, Lupe be over there while you over here, you know.
Right? I mean? Yeah. That's dope. Speaking of this album, The Way to Win, can you tell the people who produced it, who did all the beats on it?
Clouded Slum, man. All too happy. I always say Clouded Slum is the Exile to my Blue. You know, we've got a whole catalog of music. We release our Valentine's Day project every year. We're actually doing a 3-part to this: The Way to Win, The Way to Water, and then the final one will be The Way to the World. So the Wild Part 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, we've already started working on The Way to Water. We're about 4 or 5 songs into it. It's gonna have a whole totally different sound from The Way to Win. We're going totally another direction. But yeah, Clouded Slum, man, out of New York. Show him some love at Clouded Slum on Instagram. Yeah, man, I think he is one of the most unsung producers out there, and I'm, you know, honored to work with him through the years.
Yeah, the sound on the album, the beats, man, are like they're funky, they're boom bap, you know, they're soulful. There's a lot going on, and at the same time, there's not a lot going on. It's kind of weird, you know what I mean? There's not too much going on, but they are layered, you know. But everything just feels right and is in its proper place.
It's great. It's amazing that you analyze it like that, because like some producers send me production and it overwhelms me.
Yeah,
like the beats are great, but what do they need me for? It's like a chick with a vibrator, like, and she laying there with the vibrator. Do you need me? Am I useful right now? Or it don't seem like you need me. Like, that's how some of those beats are. So Clouded shit is wide open enough for me to hear. Like, Clouded is just like in a musical way. Like I don't want to say it like that, but Clouded is the perfect match to what I'm trying to do artistically.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I love about what I would describe as boom bap hip hop, is that there's a simplicity to the beats that the MC has to fulfill. You know, like you said, there's some instrument, like some beats, it's like it's just too much going on. You know, too much going on. Like hip hop is all about, not all about, but the word and the music is really important, and to have those two elements competing against each other, you know, that's not good. But when they fit in harmony, and that's what happened there with this album. So so props to y'all for a dope album. If y'all have not heard it, you're tuning in, please go find it. It's called The Wow, The Weight of Wind. It's just about anywhere you can find music. You think there would be a vinyl or CD or tape release for this?
and I were talking about it. You know, we want to do like a limited vinyl press up, but it just depends on how much that we can recoup from what we invested to be able to. Because that vinyl press up is very expensive without a label backing you. Usually a label will finance something like Fat Beats or something like that. So yeah, but I want to do vinyl, and if not vinyl, at least like limited edition cassette press up, something that the fans can have physically. You know, as like memorabilia. So yeah, I want to do vinyl. Can't promise it, but we are definitely working towards that. So yeah.
All right, cool. We'll be on the lookout for that. We'll also be on the lookout for something that you have coming up. Can you tell us about these upcoming mega blends that you have coming out?
All right, I got the mega blends coming up, which is a Hollywood love story, and then after that is poetry in motion, and they all each of them follow the theme of the titles. But I gotta shout out DJ Applejack too, out of Atlanta. We're putting out an EP. Applejack produced it fully. And then I got another little treat, a little like end of the year EP with Clouded Slum that we're gonna drop called the Mom and Dad EP. So I got a lot more coming this year, man. You know, the way to win is right there at the middle point, but I got some more stuff. So I got the mega blends, and I got a single I'm putting out with Blue called Boulevard, produced by Maxo out of Canada. So yeah, I got some singles, I got the mega blends, and I have the two more EPs I'll be dropping. So it's gonna be a Cashus King heavy year, man.
Yeah, man, you drop a lot. That's great, man. That's great. Before we move on to some of your favorite hip hop albums, Profound, anything else on the way to win, or anything else you want to comment
on? As we were talking, and we talked about Kendrick, and I'm gonna make this brief. It just kind of hit me that the older I get, the more the parameters change on what I what I viewed as like dope or super dope. You know what I'm saying? Like I agree with y'all on the Kendrick. Like I'm not, it's not every song ain't like, but it's like, man, it's so heavy.
Yeah,
that it's like you want to keep consuming it. Like I want to go back, because I definitely respect Kendrick, but he's not somebody that, I've been around too long. He's not somebody that I rush to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But hearing this, it was like, man, like I was like, man, what was it? And as we was talking, it just hit me like, man, you know what? The parameters have changed for me, because if this was 94, my opinion would be totally different. I'd have been like, yeah, nah, man, but it's like, it's like the J Electronica, like he took so long coming out, and then everybody was like, but then I was the same way too. And then when I go back and listen to it, it's like, man, this is really heavy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's some heavy stuff out here.
Funny you mentioned JLX, because like Spotless Mind still blows my mind. You know what I mean? When he's rapping over it. And then I know it wasn't meant to be released, but that Patents of Nobility got some stuff on it, man. Like, even though it's not an official release, but yeah. Right.
And I agree. It's just that I guess the older you get, you learn to appreciate things really for what they are. You know what I mean? And then kind of accept them for what they are. And it's just like, wow, man, I can go back now and listen to some of the things from in the mid 90s and be like, he said that, like, how did I miss that? Like, I've listened to this album 50 times, man. How, like yesterday, and I missed that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just interesting to see the parameters change, man.
Yeah.
Even with the way like some of Gen Z reacted to Kendrick's album, they're not used to that kind of like vulnerability and like, I don't want to like throw shots at Gen Z. I'm not one of these millennials like, oh, Gen Z is all out there. Some of them were like, this Kendrick is depressing. It's too deep. He's saying too much. I was like, that's hip hop though. Like, you know what I mean? Like being able to lay it out there in a raw way. Like, I just appreciated getting that insight, because like some artists that I really admire, like I wish they would give me more of themselves, like a Pusha T, for example. Like I love his music, but sometimes I want to know you though. Like I know the drug dealer persona, but I want to know what you're thinking about, my nigga. Like so I appreciated Kendrick giving us such an inside look into his psyche and all of that. So
So, and who else in hip hop drops the album and gets that much discussion? And you mentioned it earlier, Cashus King. I love that about Kendrick Lamar. Like, love him, hate him, whatever. Like, you're talking about him, and you're talking about some of the things that he says in his song. So I think he sparks good conversation, good debate, which is good. So
yeah, we could talk about Drake's dance album. No,
Oh,
that's that.
I didn't hear it. I didn't listen, man.
That's
Yeah,
another guy that like I just wish he would give us some bars because when that dude raps, I think he's like a really, really dope MC. And
yeah.
I just want like one album. I know that's not his thing. I get it. I know that's not what he does, but just one album, just bars, you know, because like the boy, when he goes in his bag on the bars, like he's a problem, man. So yeah.
dancing, this guy.
Yeah.
My 16-year-old, she was like, "No, Dad." I was like, "What you mean?" I hit the first. I was like, "Oh,
Did she like it?
nope,
Oh wow.
nope,
Okay.
not at all. Nope."
I
She
read
was
a
like, "No,
review that
thank
said
you.
that was his best album and shit. They're like, this is Drake's best album. I'm like, different
Better
strokes.
stop. I'm still on the comeback season. They better quit playing." Man, I want him to rap like that.
Yeah. I want
Just,
him to rap like when he did the joint with Elzai and Fonte and shit, you know.
Man,
Yeah. Or even
Yeah.
rap like he did when he was dissing Pusha T, you know what I mean? Like the boy can spit, man. He just that's not his lane, you know. So,
yeah. All right. Well,
I got Lupe tomorrow, so I'm not tripping.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm about to have bars on top of bars with double
Yeah.
triple meanings in them and shit. So, I'm really like Kendrick is probably my favorite commercial artist, but my favorite lyricist is Lupe for sure. You know, I just like that poetic kind of abstract approach he takes to his lyrics. It makes it really fun to pick it apart, you know, find the hidden meaning.
Yeah. Dope. So that's Midnight Tonight, Lupe, new album.
Yeah. And then
Wow,
another Chicago artist. He got one of my favorite contemporary albums. So yeah.
I wonder if Lupe mentioned. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if Lupe is that Lupe and Royce situation settled?
Hey, Royce kind of took a break for a minute, so I think the dust is settled or whatever. Yeah. I don't think they gonna be doing like a podcast together or nothing. But
yeah, I want to. That's why that's why I want to listen to the album. I just want to see.
Yeah,
you know, if I can pick up. You know how we do. You know, we can. You know, we can talk to him without everybody knowing we talking to him.
Yeah,
you know? So that's why I want to hear it.
That's what made hip hop so fun. Niggas was throwing shots all through the night.
And you know what? And they wasn't always direct either. Now Pac was going. Hey, if Pac was going direct, but
Pac he didn't know how to throw subliminals, man.
Yeah, man, he going direct, man. I don't like you, and I don't want the world to not like you.
I remember when the first time I heard "Hit 'Em Up," I was like, "He just threw a tantrum." That was a hip hop tantrum. Like that wasn't planned. He lost it. I couldn't believe they
played that record, man. I couldn't believe they was playing "Hit 'Em Up" like he was.
That was crazy. I bought the "How Do You Want It" single just to get the B-side to hear "Hit 'Em Up." I had to buy the cassette tape at warehouse. Go to the side, and I listened to that shit on the bus in day camp, 1995 or 6. It was crazy, man. It was a crazy time, dude.
Crazy time, indeed. All right. Speaking of Tupac and dope music, let's play a little game, Profound. This game is called One Word. Cashus King. I will show you an album. I'll name the album for our podcast listeners, and you think of one word that describes this album or how you feel about this album. All right, here we go. First one, we've mentioned them several times tonight. So this is Good Kid, Bad City by Kendrick Lamar.
Classic. West Coast classic for sure.
Yeah. Your favorite? Yeah, go ahead.
One word. No, let me.
No, you gave us the word classic. You succeed.
Oh, okay. It's just because I talk to people from other regions. I got friends that are from like Georgia. It doesn't hit for them the way it hits for us. Some of us out here, they go, "Oh, it's too LA. It's too like, you know." I think it resonates, and I didn't realize that till I talked to people from other places. So that's why I'm saying West Coast classic almost is like a compound word. You know what I mean? It's a hip hop classic too, but it really resonates for us.
I feel that because I feel like overall, To Pimp a Butterfly, I feel like the consensus is that's his best album, just from my observation. But I can see this being more of a West Coast classic. So
like even the graffiti on it is totally the way you do West Coast lettering. And Schoolboy Q is the one who did the writing on there. And
Okay.
that's what you call strike'ems in LA. It's
Okay.
like I can't do my letters like that. I don't have, so it's all so authentically Los Angeles and Compton and Southern Cali too. Not even the Bay. That's some like Southern California shit right there. So
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
Kid is like my favorite Kendrick album, but I think artistically, Butterfly, I agree. And that's the one he should have won the Pulitzer for, not Damn. You know what I mean? But I think they were trying to
Yeah.
make yeah.
Totally. I thought Damn was cool, but man, I think
Yeah.
To Pimp a Butterfly was his best. So
Yeah, that's
all
a
right.
masterpiece, To Pimp a Butterfly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dope album.
One of the best hip hop discographies of all time, in my opinion. Shit.
Yeah, it's dope. I like Section 80 too. I think it's To Pimp a Butterfly, Section 80, right there, neck and neck for me. All right. One word for ATLians by Outkast.
Favorite.
Okay.
Me. That's my favorite album of all time.
Oh yeah, why?
It encompasses everything, like the atmospheric kind of outer space vibe of it, the whole alien theme. Every mainstream is my favorite hip hop song of all time. Got me through the death of my father, floating face down in the main. That's why I think it is when it ain't all peaches and cream. Like, I get goosebumps just rapping it. Like, yeah, favorite album of all time. Like, I like
dope.
everything on it. And I actually prefer Big Boy's performances over Andre. So yeah.
Okay. That's a dope. They both were dope on there. All right. Last one of the night is Me Against the World by Tupac.
Nostalgia. I can't, it's hard to even have one word. Like childhood. No, throw nostalgia out. Childhood. Like Me Against the World, I think about my pops. I think about, the answering machine and the beepers and the landlines and, and fucking, so many tears, and it ain't easy being me. Will I see the penitentiary or will I stay free? Like that, man. Fucking fuck the world. Who you calling rapist? Ain't that a bitch? You it's so two-faced. Want to see me locked in chain? Like, oh man, what? Oh no. They want to know if I claim the clique that I'm hanging with, and if I'm down with this banging shit. Well, homie, I don't give a fuck if you blood or cuz, long as you got love for thugs. I could probably rap that whole verse. Like that's a super classic.
Yeah.
Like he went after, he told the Bloods and Crips, like, nigga, oh, that homie, this is thug like, nigga, and we all strapped. I've been to hell and back, and if I fail, I'm back, and then it's back to the corner where we sell crack. Some of you niggas is busters running around with these tramp ass bitches. Don't trust her. Yeah, like, nah, man, come on, man. Come on. You gonna have me rapping all night.
As someone that grew up on Tupac and been influenced by him, inspired by him, what do you think it was about Tupac that resonated with so many people?
That he was a contradiction of so many conflicting emotions, that if you were a theater kid, you could relate to Pac. If you were a sensitive kid that got bullied, you could relate to Pac. If you was a thug nigga, you could relate to Pac. I had niggas in the hood that would literally, like, if you talk shit about Pac, they want to catch your fade. Like, talking about Pac, cuz I'm just saying, cuz you talk shit about Pac. Like, niggas get real sensitive, like, about Corrupt and about Pac. Those were the holy grails growing up. Don't say, like I said, Razzcast was better than Corrupt, and I almost got beat up on Lamert Boulevard. Yeah. Just the way, the fact that, yeah, he was a contradiction. One minute he was talking about peace, the next minute he was talking about killing everybody. But that's what we all are in a lot of ways. Maybe not as pronounced and as visible as Tupac, but we're all a kind of a cohesiveness of all these conflicting emotions. So I think Tupac had a little something that everybody could relate to, and he was just phenomenally talented. Great actor, a political activist, great public speaker, great, he was an iconic person.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out and rest in peace always to Tupac and Biggie back there. I see Biggie and
hell yeah, rest in peace to Biggie too, for real.
For sure.
One of the best lyricists of all time. To this day, you listen to Biggie shit and it's still bananas.
Yeah.
So gifted,
Yeah, definitely. Cashus King, before we give our shout outs for the night, anything else you want to make sure people know, or any way you want them to follow you online?
Just all of my handles are at Cashus King, except for Twitter. It's at COSSUS on Twitter, COSSUS. Just much more music to come, and thank you to everybody that's taking the time to stream the music. I really appreciate y'all, and I'm gonna just keep working hard, man. No excuses. We got more music coming, and and thank you to you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. And that's about it. Just gratitude, and that I got more music to come, and just keep following me on social media, and we're gonna keep grinding until we get to where we want to go.
Cool. Well, it's a hip hop show, so we always end it with shout outs. So Profound and I will give some shout outs, and then we'll turn it over to you for the final shout outs of the night. Cool?
Okay, cool.
All right, Profound, who you got tonight?
Yeah, man. Well, man, let's shout out Cashus King, man. Thank you, brother, for coming through here today, man. Listening to the album and then getting a chance to talk to you, like, yes, they, both of them definitely match. You are who you are, my brother. Appreciate you coming through. Shout out to the crew, as usual, the Boom Bap Chat, Till, Io, Bo, Stowe, Joe, and everybody else, that's doing it. Peace out to Chicago. I'm out here on the West Coast too, Cassius. I'm in Nevada.
Word.
Yeah.
Where you at?
In Reno.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm up in
Reno?
Reno, Nevada.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking California. I'm like, we got a Reno in Cali?
No. I'm out west, man.
I fuck with Euros out of Nevada too. Rapper Euros, you heard him?
Man, I ain't been out here that long, so I'm still making my way around. All right, cool. Yeah. So shout out to everybody that's, living something positive, man. I know the world is still entrenched in a bunch of turmoil, and our country is in turmoil, our neighborhoods are in turmoil. And I'm just a shout out to peace and positivity, man, and all 6 of my children and my grandson too. You know how I go.
All right, that's what's up. Shout out to your kids.
Yeah, man. Dope. Shout out to all the youth out there, and shout out to a lot of dope music has come out recently, and just want to let all of our podcast listeners and followers know we used to be weekly, and we are going to do it twice a month now, so kind of every other week for the most part. We did that for different reasons, but there's a lot of dope music coming out. In addition to Cashus King's new album, Germicide, if you know Germicide, he just dropped a really dope album not too long ago. And man, one of my favorites this year, Tab One, just put out a super dope album. And so we got those 2 guys coming up next on the Boom Bap Chat coming in July. We're also reaching out. I think we got Mike G of the Jungle Brothers confirmed, which is dope. We're reaching out to Elder Sensei, try to get him on. So we got some really dope guests coming up. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that. And so tonight I just want to shout out Cashus King for coming through, and for the album, man, the Wow, The Way to Win. Such a great album. If you've not heard it, please go find it. Search Cashus King wherever you listen to music. It'll be there. The Way to Win, a really dope project. Something you can dig in and learn from and study, and also something you can just put on and vibe out to and enjoy. So thank you, Cashus King, for the album, and thank you for taking some of your time to be with us and share a little bit of yourself tonight. So shout out to you, and with that, we'll give you the final shout out.
Well, shout out to the Boom Bap Chat, of course. Yeah. Shout out to Blue and X, man. They really helped me push this once I wrote it out. Blue did a personal co-sign to it, so gotta give a shout out to Blue. Shout out to Cinema to Graffiti too, man. He's been working really hard sending out his beats, so I urge all you rappers that he sent beats to, hit him back. Fuck with the boy, he's dope. Clouded Slum, of course, man. And just shout out to everybody that's taking the time to support my music. Oh, I want to give a shout out to Boogie from Compton, man. He dropped a really dope album same day that the Logic and my shit dropped, More Black Superheroes, and I just recommend everybody check that out. Has a similar vibe to the Kendrick, actually. It's about self-examination and really picking apart your psyche. So shout out to Boogie from Compton, because that shit really inspires me. And just shout out to all the fans, man, that take the time to support this hip-hop music. I appreciate each and every one of y'all, so thank you.
Right on. And with that, I lied. I'm gonna bring in my man YGT here, who said Black Israelis off the Wow is amazing.
Oh, yes. Yes. Hey, Blue went in on his J Electronica times 5 on now. He started kicking African gems and proverbs. And I'm like, what? Classic Blue verse? Is that what happened? Like,
Yes.
New World at the end of that is my favorite shit on the project.
Yeah. Okay, New World. Yeah. So Black Israelis, like, there's so much dope material on that. Every song is dope on there. Can't say it enough. So make sure y'all go out, check out Cashus King's new album, The Wow, The Way to Win. Thank you, Cashus King. Thanks to all of our listeners. And on that note, we say
peace.
Peace.